Nurses of Reddit, what's something a patient can do for you to show how much they appreciate you? Most places have comment cards or a mechanism for feedback. I do that, as well as flowers, candy, donuts, etc. Those compliments go up to the managers and are considered in decisions about promotions and funding. At least for my place of work. Compliments go in your permanent file. Also, be sure to visit later. The work can get you really down, but seeing someone who's thriving is just the best. Congrats on finishing up. Being polite and friendly is the #1 thing I can think of. Really just basic manners. Edit. I have no excuse for that spelling error. I'm embarrassed. My mom is an RN. She loves when patients write heartfelt cards or letters to her. Also, if you are given a chance to review, provide feedback, comment cards. I know a lot of places really value that. And you can call out some of the MVPs by name if you know them. Flowers or food, treats, pastries, a box of chocolates, etc. are also a good choice. I am nearing the end of my chemotherapy and radiation treatment. I started my journey this year at only 27. I am so appreciative of all the nurses and radiation staff who have helped me through this and made me feel safe and cared for. What's something nice I can do for you guys to show you how loved you are? Red Heart. I am not a nurse, but I used to work in a hospital with 18 nurses as my co-workers. I can tell you the one thing that made people cry was handwritten notes of thanks. I saw at least 3 people. One of them, a big, burly, heterosexual, father of 2, cry because of notes patients or their families sent because they were so heartfelt. You can also send donuts or pastries or whatever. Those are always a hit. As long as the gift, food, is addressed to the whole office. There's no ethical qualms about accepting it as a gift. The note can be addressed to just one person if you want. Edit. Also, thank you for posting this. It has reminded me to say thank you to some people who really need to hear it. A written form of thanks. I'm an A&E nurse and it's mentally, physically and emotionally draining. We rarely get told if a patient has made a positive comment. It's actually really comforting and uplifting when we get a written note or a name mention. I can't tell you the few times I've actually gotten something physical. It's made me so happy to read it and feel like I've done a good job. Plus, in the UK we now have to revalidate our PIN numbers in order to continue working, and any evidence of positive comments from patients really helps the process. I'm RN and also so I work on labor ward and birth center, as well as the postnatal ward. And the things that always gets me are the genuine thank yous, either by note or verbally. I very often well up when someone tells me that they couldn't have done it without me, even though of course they would had. And I often share some tears of happiness and a hug with a new mom this year. As a tech and a nursing student, a big thing to show appreciation is just show understanding that they have other patients. If you need something, Tylenol or Dilaudid, it may take a while. We also hear your complaints, but they can't always be taken care of. Clear liquid diets. I'm not a nurse, but whenever I am in the ER I always try to behave and be as patient as I can. I say please, thank you. If I'm getting impatient, I go up to them and say, I know you have a lot going on, but would you mind giving me an estimate of how much longer it would be? Things like that. They always seem very appreciative. I live in a city filled with a lot of wackos. Look around the ER and I promise you they don't need your impatient, rude ass demanding more fucking Tylenol. Pissed as fuck you can't go home and watch The Bachelor. They've been dealing with Jerry, who keeps shitting his pants and screaming obscenities at them all day. They haven't seen their cat in damn near 16 hours. Maybe they saw someone die today. Give them a fucking break. When my daughters were born, I brought a gallon of ice cream for the nursing staff from an amazing ice cream stand. Walked off the elevator to the nurse's station. May I help you? Yes. Could you help me eat this? Pulling out 2 half-gallons. Eyes grew wide as did the smile. I'm going to see. Wife's name. Down the hall. Wife and baby basically wanted for nothing while they were there. I'm not a nurse, but my mother is. She likes when patients are kind, polite, and patient. Also, knowing that you are most likely not the nurse's only patient. Thank you for the suggestions, everyone. It seems like a heartfelt card and some type of treat is the favorite or nurses. I am going to try and find a gourmet cupcake bakery or something nice and bring them in for the staff at the end of my treatment. Also, thank you to everyone who wished me well. Smiling face with smiling eyes. Tell their manager, please. Please tell their manager. Or write a letter. Someone doing their job well can often go unnoticed by management, and in my experience, nurses suck at giving positive feedback. Our job is hard and it would be nice to be professionally recognized now and then. A genie and thank you goes a long way. Handwritten notes are great as well. Sometimes a hug can be good. We don't need your money. Company rules mostly won't allow us even taking it, but sometimes the patient or their family insists, so we take what is offered but know fully well that the money is going into a big pot which we finance our team outings from this year. Nominate the nurse S for a Daisy Award. Most hospitals have this as a way to show appreciation for the nurses and lets administration know that their staff has gone above and beyond. Additionally, a personal card to that team is also appreciated. These cards are always proudly displayed and shared with the staff. It always brings a smile knowing we've had a positive impact on the patient. Source: RN. I'm quite a young nurse, 23, and work in ICU. The best thing my patients and their families can give me is some respect. That's all I ask for. I spent literally thousands of hours training to do this job to the best of my abilities. So I really don't appreciate it when people overlook me for being young. I've had someone spend 45 minutes berating me over the care of their husband who I had only just met 20 minutes before. I answered all of their questions based off evidence-based practice only to be told, yeah, well, I've done studies of my own and you're wrong. Nurse in charge came over, had a chat and repeated what I said almost word for word, and they were nice as pie. Honestly cried for 45 minutes that night. If you came in, took your meds, treatments with little or no complaints, you've done me good. I just want someone to follow instructions, take their meds and not complain and whine about everything from food temperature to rough sheets. For Christmas, after a year of chemotherapy, I gifted the whole department a basket of muffins and cookies. I made it clear it was a Christmas gift for everyone from me and my family. I will do similar this Christmas. The staff at my chemo suite are amazing, and they have to put up with me so much. It's nice to be able to give them something. Asterisk I took names. Asterisk the woman who raced me into her. The nurse. Every technician. Even those folks dressed in red. Yes, the phlebotomists actually wore red. It was exactly 27 people in all. But I was scared shitless and they were actually helping me and I wanted to know their names. For 3 days they worked to save my life. And when I got home I wrote a 2-page, single-space, 11-size font Calibri letter. I itemized every single person and what each did for me. Addressed it to the ER and the 6th floor of the hospital and mailed it. When I returned again, this time for life-saving surgery, I again took names. I intend to send the floor some donuts at shift changes and some personal cards. While I was post-op, someone from admin came to check on me and see if there was anything she could do. Some sort of case manager. I told her I was great. EHEM. Relative to being dead, that is. But I had written a letter and really wanted to be sure it went to the right place. That someone had read it. She returned the next day to tell me that she'd found the letter. It had moved through the hospital and into the leadership's hands and was read aloud at a meeting. And they intended on blowing up the letter and placing it in the break rooms for nurses, doctors, etc. Sometimes, I think just stopping and taking the time to write it out, to really be specific about what their care meant, might be the most meaningful. I'll never forget them, and I told them that. As a nurse, I love notes. I put them in my portfolio and pull them out after a long day. And hugs. But gift-wise, we love being able to share candies, snacks with our unit or pods. But truly, nothing beats a handwritten or personal note heartsuit. Just be nice to me. I know you might feel like crap or are going through a lot, but I'm working hard to help you get better. Stand up to those family members of yours who are awful because they feel they need to look like they are doing something for you. A smile from my patient is worth more than anything else. Wife is a nurse. Truly. Give them a heartfelt thank you note addressed to everyone or write them individually. Nurses do not get thanked enough for what they do. When patients show genuine appreciation, it really gives nurses a huge freaking boost that day. Not a nurse, but a CNA. Honestly. Being polite and thanking people. That's what really sticks with us. Honestly, after 15 years of doing this, I feel like I know when someone appreciates what I do and when they think of me as a doctor's servant. So the most meaningful thing you can do is give or send a genuine heartfelt note. Or even better, do it in person. Most of us cannot accept gifts. But if you send something like an edible arrangements bouquet, we know what it means and we get to share it with our coworkers too. Not a nurse. I don't know if they loved it, but I wrote a heartfelt, haha, note of appreciation to the nurses and other staff after my open heart surgery. I delivered it to the floor about 6 weeks after surgery along with half a dozen boxes of Girl Scout cookies. While I was thanking one of my nurses in person, I did see the boxes get broken into and eaten with enthusiasm by several nurses. So I think it was appreciated. Don't be an asshole. Hospitals typically have some form of recognition for nurses. Patients can write letters to managers. Included the nurse's name in the feedback survey they receive after their hospital stay. Also, please and thank you works wonders. The best thing a patient can do for a nurse is to write a letter to the management detailing their excellence as a nurse. A letter such as that can help them get raises, bonus and/or promotions. Over the long term, a raise, even a small one, will do more for them than a box of chocolates or flowers. In the words of my mom, who is a nurse, please don't die. Thanks.